So okay, so let's be the two old men in the room, right?
The only old men in the room right
Kids
now.
these days. I'm the only old man in the room. If you really want.
Do I have to do the voice? Okay,
There you go.
I got the voice. It's a
Why is it always like the Eddie Murphy white guy from Trading Places in the barbershop, right? It's the old white Jewish guy that he plays that we all go back to like, I don't know why.
I always think of, when I think of the old guys, it's the Eddie Murphy character in Coming to America in the barbershop.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Coming to America. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, taste it. It's hot. Where's the spoon?
The soup. Yeah, taste the soup. Exactly.
That's what I was thinking of.
Precisely who I was thinking of.
Which was played by Eddie Murphy, for those of you guys that don't know, if you know that movie.
Trading Places is the other great voices, right? It's the two guys in the jail going, yeah. Those guys.
Well, he's still Eddie Murphy. You saw Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah.
You had the Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy in that one. Yeah. So, great movies. Although
it is a great movie.
They're coming out, just real quick, they're coming out with Coming to America, the second one.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm excited. I thought the first one was great.
Don't get me wrong. I'm excited.
Eddie Murphy is great.
How do you do that in today's world?
I'm curious to see it. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'll be open to it as well.
I'm gonna see it. But
speaking of movies, back to the earlier part of our conversation, just to clarify something. General Zod.
Zod. Okay, so yeah, for the Superman buffs out there, it was General Zod.
It was. In fairness, it was 1980.
And I wasn't even alive yet.
Fuck you.
I couldn't. I just didn't come out the womb.
Okay, so as the old men in the room, the old men with the podcast, is the etiquette thing getting worse? Is the digital age making it worse, or are we just more sensitive because we're getting to that sort of like middle age kind of run where we're noticing more of this stuff?
I want to say, and maybe this might be a little bit of a cop-out, but I think it's a little bit of all of them.
That's a total fucking cop-out.
I know, sorry. But it really is. I mean, yes, I would lean more to, I think that the digital age is lending itself to a more lax attitude.
Okay.
But at the same time, as we get older and we grew up in a different era, it changes everything, right? And you know, I never used to know that. And you used to, because we always laugh about when I was, our parents, and they get stuck in their ways about stuff. And they're like, well, when we were young, this is how it was happening.
I make this argument a lot to people in conversation because I hear about millennials being complained about all the time. They're entitled and they don't want to work and blah, blah, blah. And there's another generation now that's after millennials. I can't remember what it is. So if our listeners know, please post up and educate me. I can't remember what the next generation is. I've got cousins that are of the next generation. I should know. But I don't, so forgive me. But I hear this. People are becoming more rude. People are becoming more relaxed. Society's becoming more casual. I do see examples of it that are distinctly more casual. Like, I could not believe it when I moved to Houston, Texas, and went to a nice restaurant and people were in blue jeans. That blew my wig, right? Because where I grew up, that would not.
Oh, you wore like a sport coat and tie or whatever, and
totally
slacks,
or even khakis,
like loafers or whatever.
God. Yeah, it was very nice.
The penny loafers,
very nice boat shoes, if you will. Yes, a little Afghan. It's like that. I'm on a boat. That song. So I got my Afghan on and my flippy floppies. Yeah. No, it was like that. But interestingly, when I went back to the Northeast after being here for a little while, and I went out to some business dinners, it had migrated up there in a very short period of time from when I came down here. So I don't think it was just a regional thing. I think it was a cultural shift that was kind of happening. Although Houston's always been a little more lax in that way, right? But generational, I don't know, man. Like, in the 1920s, you had the flappers, and I guarantee you their parents were freaking out about how lazy and entitled and hammered they were all the time.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
The roaring 20s, the flappers and the guys just being like, totally beyond belief blitzed with all the bootleg booze they were sucking down all the time. in the 30s, obviously the Depression, it's a whole different world. You form
Survival.
Absolutely, right. You form a generation that was made from pounding iron. I mean, these men and women were just unbreakable, right? They go off to do World War II, which is, we could have a whole year worth of podcasting talking about how strong everyone that came out of that all over the world were.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you skip through a couple of our decades, you look at that. I mean, war obviously changes everything.
Everything,
right?
right.
So you look at that. Let's jump so we get let's jump to like the 60s or 70s.
Let's pause in the 60s. That's
Okay.
my next point, right? In fact, let's followed by the hippies. Their parents, their grandparents were going crazy. All these kids are so rude. They're so lazy. They're so entitled. They don't want to work. I mean, heck, the Beats were pushing communism in a time when in the U.S. that was obviously unheard of.
Yeah, but you think about it also, the way that people parented, once you got to a certain age, it was expected that parents just let go anyway.
Well, this is true. And back then it was age like what, 6?
Yeah, right.
It's like,
something like that.
They'll be fine. They're adults now.
Let me ask my dad.
Right.
No, yeah, but I at least, okay, now granted, I didn't grow up in that decade, but I feel even from when I grew up that there was a little bit more of, when you got to a certain age, there was a little bit more of autonomy that was given to the children. I mean, at least that's the way I felt.
Okay, so hang on. So you're saying that now there's less of that, and that's causing problems?
I'm not going to say that it's causing problems. I think there is more parent involvement.
Like helicopter parent kind of.
Yeah, I think there is some. And now I don't want to, like I said, I'm not a parent. I'm not judging anybody for the way they're raising their kid or anything like that. But from what I have seen with some of the parents and some of the schools, they are very, very involved, much more than mine were for a longer period of time. And I'm not talking kindergarten, first, second, third grade. I mean, I'm talking like middle school to high school levels type of involvement.
Yeah,
and even like some college students.
You get these sophomores, their mother has like the packet of wet wipes following them around the hallway in case they use the bathroom. No, but in all seriousness, I have to go back. We really have to go back to our generation, right? I guess you're at the beginning of the millennial.
Yeah,
right?
I'm. What do they call it? The Generation
right. So
X.
I'm on. You're not. No, my older brothers are Gen Xers, right? I'm Gen Y, and then I kind of can be argued on the cusp of millennial.
Okay,
I was born in 80.
Oh, so I was 82. So
I think you're pushing deep now into what they now consider the beginning of the millennial.
Okay.
It's all very gray line because whatever website you decide to click on, it just makes up whenever they start their.
Well, and to be honest, my generation, and this is just from people that I've grown up with, I feel like we've gotten a lot more entitled as well, because we've come from that from the parents of, you need to work for this and that. And now all the millennials are having success happen quicker in certain instances. And we're just like, what the hell, man?
But okay.
You know what I mean? So we are damn rude, my generation. Like we are going to knock you down till you learn some respect.
Hang on a second, though. The Gen Xers come straight after the hippies, right? So the Vietnam War ends in the very early 70s, right? The Gen Xers all come to be. They all grow up throughout the Stones and Aerosmith, and they move into the hair bands, and they really cut their chops in the late 70s, early, just into the mid 80s, right? Their personalities all develop right then and there. Well, these cats are like, this is punk music. This is anarchy in the UK. This is... Don't tell me that they're not like rude with their studded jackets and flipping off the man, right?
Well, okay. Well, then you could argue the fact that every generation has that feel.
That's exactly what I would argue. I think that every generation has the feel. We just get old and sensitive to it. Because how many people do you know from your generation that are your age that aren't working their asses off right now?
I can't.
Most people working their asses off.
Everyone I think is working their ass off at this point.
Right.
I think everyone. I would argue that.
You know, so you get to a point, I think, where you suddenly look at it in a very like kind of floating above the world third party kind of way, and you go, oh, wait a minute. Every young person is an entitled moron.
Well,
We're
okay.
just like,
But I think what got me, or maybe there are specific instances, what gets me sometimes is the fact that we get to a point where you hear stories about people coming out of college and demanding that they make a certain amount of money from certain professions. Because I have a friend who's a judge, and but before that, they worked in a law firm, and they were interviewing people, and they would tell me stories about people coming in, literally walking, pretty much grabbing that diploma off the stage, going to an interview and saying, I want $75,000 a year.
Right.
And when you hear stuff like that, it just makes you go, do you really deserve that? I understand that we want to hold ourselves to a high worth. We need to feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. We shouldn't degrade ourselves. I am all for that, but we should also hold ourselves to realistic standards. And I think that too many people now, and this is not just millennials, I think just in this day and age, everyone
expect a little too much.
Expect a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe true, but the story would have a lot of immediate relevance if they got hired at that amount. But the judge telling you the story was probably telling you because they had them then walk right back out that door, and good luck to you, kid.
Yeah.
You know, hope you find someone to pay you that. And, you know, it's funny. We have somebody coming up very special on the next show that I'm super, super excited about. And it's sort of the exact opposite of what we're talking about, right? I mean, somebody who is your age, my age-ish, hardworking, expects nothing, offers a huge service. I don't know. Maybe there's hope yet for all of our generations.
No, I agree. But what do you guys think? I mean, let us know. I mean, what do you think? Has the etiquette bar shifted? Do we need to be more tolerant? Or
more polite.
And polite. Well, I think we always need to be. I mean, that's just it. We just always need to be more polite. That's just a given. But, I mean, has the etiquette balance shifted a little bit? Are we not as tolerant as we should be today? I mean, no matter, and age and generation aside, just in general. So let us know. You know, hit us up on social media or go to our webpage, www.neighborsdon'tknock.com. But to get to your point, I'd
like to know what the listeners think, and I'd like to know if it is a general trend or if it's peaked and we're turning back the other direction, if we come back and become more polite in response to all the chaos that we're seeing lately.
You know, that's a good point, because I feel like that is a big possibility.
For sure.
I really think.
Every trend has an end, right?
Exactly. Well, and you think about everything going on with social justice and everything, you know, I mean, we need a little bit more love anyway, so I think maybe everything's kind of resetting itself, right?
Yeah, I think you might be on something there.
All right. Well, my glass is looking a little empty here.
Mine too, man.
I think it's time that we start to get out of here. But before we go, guys, we want to talk about a special guest that's going to be joining us next week. Singer-songwriter Tony Camel from the band Wood and Wire is going to be on the show.
I'm so jazzed up to have him on.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. He's a Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter. He lives in Austin, Texas. But don't worry, for all you local Houston fans out here, he was from Houston, so you got one of your own coming on. He is an incredible human being. Not only is he a wonderful person, he's a brilliant guitarist, actor, poet, and just a true artist. You're not going to want to miss this episode.
It's going to be a heck of a show.
So make sure you guys tune in. You can get more information on TonyCamelMusic.com or woodandwireband.com. But you're going to want to tune in, so check us out on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher, everything you can think of. We're out there. Or go to www.neighborsdon'tknock.com.
Yeah, follow us on our social media. Learn more.
That's right. All right, Phil. Peace.
Out.
You can't take your money to the grave.